Great morning, everybody. Why are you saying good morning? What did I say? Does it cost more to say great? Everybody together, great morning. Good, you must feel the excitement in your veins. Every day is a day to celebrate life. And to see so many young people here makes our veins to throb with excitement. To recall the days when we were in those seats and trying to envision what we should do with our lives. Some 40 years ago, it seemed long ago, but it is almost like it was yesterday. And so I can easily identify myself with each one of you sitting not just in the front row who are the immediate aspirants, but the future aspirants from the larger audience who belong to the schools on this campus. Respected principal of this group of institutions which are so hallowed and esteemed, Dr. Manohar, my good friend, PCR Suresh, Professor Elangovan, other members of the faculty, the coordinators of the MCC IAS Coaching Academy, the 14 aspirants who have enrolled for the first ever course being conducted by this academy, and all the students present here. One of my passions in life is try to inspire people not just to try for the civil service, but to transform their thinking. Ultimately, all of us are equal at the skull level. If you take our skulls, nobody can say anybody's skull is better looking. Maybe Suresh has a better looking skull. But what is inside our skull, that determines our lives. Our skills are determined by how you use what is inside our skulls. What is inside our skulls? Brain. But brain doesn't mean just intellect, just grey cells. Others was asking me to explain the DNA of the civil servant or the successful aspirant for the civil service. But there is no such secret of success. Everyone knows the secrets. There's nothing secret about it. The first D in DNA is determination. You must be determined to make something of your life, whether it is an IAS officer, IPS officer, or a scientist, or an engineer, or an academician, or the head of an institution like this. Each of you at this stage in your life must have that sense of living intentionally, that everything I do, every choice I make is going to impact my future. And my future is going to impact the country and the world at large. So you must choose not to become VIPs, as I've written in my book. You must choose to become very significant persons. Instead of choosing to be a VIP, choose to be a very significant person. And that is what led me to choose to aim for the civil services in the 70s of the last century. As a young student, I said, let's set my sight on the civil services. But I was not prepared for the kind of challenge that it confronted me with in terms of the difficulty level. So all of you must know the reality of how difficult this exam is. You don't have to be an Einstein to pass this exam, but you can use the Einstein formula to succeed in this exam. What is the Einstein formula? Even a fool knows what is the Einstein formula. What is it? E is equal to MC squared. E is excellence in civil service. M is motivation. The second C is choice of the correct optional. And coaching. The second C is also C squared, MC squared. The C also stands for right strategies or good coaching. When you have all these three in place and you have the DNA, the determination, and to succeed somehow, anyhow, then certainly you will succeed. In my book, I have written that for success in life, you need blazer-like passion and laser-like focus. Rather, first you need laser-like focus, and then you need blazer-like passion. You must have a focus in your life right from this age, 10th, 11th, 12th. When I was in the 11th, one of the professors came to one of the classes, and in the beginning he said, if you make a mark in this stage in your life, you will make a mark throughout your life. And that inspired me. And within 1 year, I stood first out of 1 lakh students in the entire state of Karnataka, though I had never stood first in a single class throughout my school career. So, if you aim for the stars, you will hit the treetops. Aiming for the civil service itself will lift your level of ability. The resources will come. God will provide within you the energy, the skills, because He sees your devotion, your passion. And that's what happened to me. An ordinary student, but God gave me the methods of study. And I did whatever I could to succeed. And one by one, step by step, you will find providence leading you, guiding you if you are sincere, if you are determined, and you follow the right strategies. Strategy is the bridge that connects goals and accomplishment. I have written again in this chapter on thinking. Incidentally, the chapter on thinking is illustrated by the coordinator of your course, Adarsh Joshua, in this beautiful black and white image of a bulb. He had drawn this independently, and I asked him whether I could use it in my book. And this illustrates, and the very first quote in this chapter on thinking is, which is illustrated by this drawing, by this painting, is, thinking forward is vision and imagination, thinking backward is memory, and thinking now is focus. So when I'm thinking backward about what I was as a student in 1970s, that is memory. What you are doing is thinking forward. Your principal has brought students from 10th, 11th, 12th. Thank you. So that he will sow the seeds of a vision in your minds and hearts. And that seed will begin to grow and bear fruit in your lives. Whether you actually aim to become a civil servant or not, there will be a transformation happening in your lives. And you will begin to focus. What should I do? What is my skill level? What are my interests? Basically, interests and skills should coincide. Then only you will have both focus and you will have blazer-like passion. If there is a disjoint between aptitude and your interest, what you enjoy doing, then you will become like a square peg in a round hole. You will become a misfit. And therefore, from this age, you've got to think forward, vision, and use your vision and imagination. Thinking now is focus. What should I do now to clarify my goals, my career goals? First, get all the knowledge you can about the available career options. Now, the civil service is one career option, one of the best in India. So that is why an upcountry, it is like a fever for the last 30, 40 years. People get into IIT, get into All India Institute of Medical Sciences, but their only goal is to get into IAS or IPS or IFS, even after acquiring the highest degrees. In the South, we have been a little behind in terms of our focus on the civil services. And that's why this kind of coaching academy, which has a foundation course to first give you the basics and then further building on that foundation in a systematic way through systematic training over 1 year will make a big difference to these 14 aspirants. What you will be from 1 year from now will be completely different from what you are today. I'm not talking about your skull, your external appearance, but your skill sets. You should be able to express yourself freely with compressing your thoughts into cryptic sentences, putting more into less, and having all the insights and information about which way the country is going, the latest developments in technology, in economics, in social developments, at your fingertips. And you'll be able to sync it together, sync all knowledge and wisdom together. The UPSC actually tests what Indian education does not provide. Indian education does not provide you the ability to think on your own. And that is why UPSC becomes such a big challenge for so many students. It requires you to be original. You cannot make vast quotations and fill up pages and get marks like in other examinations. You have to be cryptic, precise, and to the point. And that is why in the second part, the UPSC has 3 parts. The first part is MCQ, multiple choice questions, which is an elimination round, which itself is quite tough. And that consists of civil service aptitude testing plus general studies. Once you have reached the cutoff, you get into the main examination. And you have only about 3 months between the prelims and the mains. And therefore, that is why you need to be preparing for the mains even before the prelim results come. You cannot wait for the prelims results and then say, I will prepare for the mains. It should be a holistic package where you are focusing on the mains and then cover all the preliminary topics. So you need to be having that kind of ability to coordinate disparate subjects and be able to muster facts quickly, marshal it, and present it in short answers in the mains papers. You'll have to answer in 150 words, 250 words, and no quotations, as I said. You cannot rely on filling up pages with quotations. That original and fresh approach, that is what completes a person's education. So by preparing for this exam itself, you become a more educated person. Mere sitting for this examination itself will complete your mind in more ways than one. This is what I found. When I started preparing, I gave up all the old academic methods and started this new fresh approach. And that's why 40% of those who succeed, they take optionals which are not their subject for the BA or for the BCom or BSc or MA. It is not the subject which they studied. 40% come from technical backgrounds, engineers. And because they are studying the subject afresh, of course with the help of coaching circles like this, their answers become more attractive and therefore they get higher marking. And even in 1 mark can make a difference of 100 ranks. It is so competitive. This is the most competitive exam, they say, in the whole world, not just in India. And therefore, it requires a long march. You got to plan 10 years ahead. I caught this dream when I was in the 9th standard, when I saw some models in the IPS in Bangalore. And I aspired to be like them. You know, you have to face a lot of challenges in the career, not just the examination, but in the career, a lot of challenges. There is so much corruption, so much of communalism in the political developments in this country that you have to stand alone often. And you will become the target. But yet, because of your inner development, your moral and total development, you develop the resilience to withstand that kind of pressure. So in this book I've written, the greatest challenge is to live on earth with the values of heaven. The most adventurous thing in the world is to live with the values of heaven on earth. And that makes it very, very challenging. So students, today move out of your comfort zone and move into word which I have coined, challenge zone. Regardless of the career that you want to join, whatever be the career, some of you may want to become an author, some of you may want to become social workers. But whatever be the career you choose today to move from the comfort zone of relaxing, resting, move into the challenge zone, because life is the greatest challenge zone. Flex your muscles, extend your intellect, widen your imagination, and then God will certainly bless you abundantly. And you will find you can do much more than just what smart work and hard work can deliver. You will have divine guidance. You will have great breaks happening in your lives. And you will realize that there is a power beyond me that is empowering me. So I once again congratulate the principal and management of the MCC for having thought of this far-reaching vision of setting up an academy to train young students and aspirants, because it is not only these 14 aspirants, but the entire institutions will seep into this kind of culture of competition. You become more competitive and you will increase in your skills in different aspects. And it will influence the last student in this campus and beyond. So I wish all the aspirants all the best. And I pray that God will add success and blessing upon all your efforts. Everything you do from now, every step you take, think that you're already a civil servant. And how should I behave? How should I conduct myself? How should I think? And work towards achieving that goal. May God bless you richly. Thank you.